It's decision time 2016, and where is your vote going? Well, hopefully it's for Campaign Trail. Let's check it out. Alright, so here is the board for Campaign Trail. I say board, it's actually just paper. And on the paper map here, you have certain cities. There are different colors here. Red says it's worth 3 points if the campaigner visits there. Blue, it's worth 2 points. And white, it's only worth 1 point if you end your turn there. And you have to end your turn there. And although you can't see it much on the board, there's Monroe. Love this game already. Alright, so what you're going to do is you're going to pick a candidate. And they give you 3 cheap little plastic pawns. And you have to pick one to be your VP, your president, and one is your ally, which you may use later on in the game. Now, like I said, look at this. Green, they're not even the same color. One was clear, the other one they're, you know, more solid a color, where red has 2 clear and 1 solid. So it didn't look like they took much time with the pieces here at all. But anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to start off, you're going to choose where your president and vice president are from. And it says you can choose any state, you just can't choose the same state as an opponent, or your vice president and president can't be living in the same state, which of course that's realistic, right? They're never from the same states. Now, you can do it that way, or you can randomly select. I have another game called Game of the States that has, you know, all the cards about this size, all 50 states, and so I just shuffle it up and we randomly deal 2 out, and that's where your president and vice president are from. But either way, you can play, you know, 3, 4 players here, and people go around placing where their president's from. So I'm saying he's from Kansas. And then my opponent says, oh yeah, well I'm from Kentucky. And I say, okay, well my vice president is from Arizona. Or actually, whoever was last in the picking for president, they get to pick their vice president next. So he says, my vice president's from Florida. And I say, okay, my VP is from California. And that's where they start the game. And that does matter a little bit, because wherever your president starts, you're going to get 10 votes already within your home state. Now, wherever your vice president starts, you're going to get 5 votes for whatever state he starts in. So it does matter. Also, they're going to give you these statistics here, a tally sheet, so to speak. And this is a made-up one. This is a mock one they give you. These are pre-printed examples here. And so every time you visit a state in your turn in that city, you're going to tally up and mark down how many votes you have in that state. Now, they also give you other things here for plane tickets. On your turn, everyone starts with 2 plane tickets. It's a one-way trip, and they can go anywhere across the U.S. on their plane ticket. It suggests you draw, like these are pre-drawn boxes, but it says draw some boxes up here where it says air tickets and check them off when you have 2. Now, there are ways to get more air tickets in the game, but anyway, what you're going to do on a regular turn, you're going to announce if you're using a plane ticket, and if whether you are or you're not, you're going to roll these 2 white die. Now, these both signify the president and the vice president. So if I rolled, and I rolled a 3 and a 5, that means either my president or vice president can move 5, and the other one would have to move 3. So I can move my president 3, VP 5. That's how it works. Now when you move, you can't move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't do that. You can go in a circle. You know, if you need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're trying to get back around here, that's fine. It says you can go in circles if you want, but you can't go back and forth. Now if you hit a dead end, you have to stop. If you hit the dead end by exact count, you can stop at that dead end. If you didn't, then you can go back. That's the only time you can go back and forth. If I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I could do that. I don't know why I do that, but that's just an example there. But you can go into one of these dead ends if you hit it by exact count. If you rolled doubles, if you roll doubles, you get to choose a campaign card. Most of the times these campaign cards are really, really good. Sometimes they are really, really bad. Mostly good, I think. But it'll get you extra plane tickets. It'll get you allies. You can bring an ally into the game. It's a third player who's helping, you know, promote you, and they're hitting the place. You get to choose what state they start in, which city, and then they can just start going around the board. When that's the case, you would add this red die to it, and that's where your ally's going. Okay, so whenever you roll doubles, you're definitely going to get one. So even if you decide to use a plane ticket and not move, because you can't fly and then move again, so you use your plane ticket and you can move out to any place as long as it matches the city of that color. For instance, I can't fly out from any of these white dots on the board, but if it's a red dot, I can fly out to any other red dot. If it's a blue dot, I can fly out to any other blue dot. And that's kind of how it works. In fact, The only time I get a round trip for free is if I want to go to Hawaii or Alaska. They said just check off when you visit them because you get one free round trip. Now that's one of your air tickets though, but it counts as, you know, 2 tickets. So if I flew out to Alaska, there's a few cities in Alaska here I could visit. I wouldn't want to stay that long, but instead of using, you know, 1 plane ticket to get there and 1 plane ticket to get back, I only use 1 plane ticket to get there and I get a free ticket to go back. Of course, here it would be to any blue city. And then, of course, Hawaii only has 1 place I can visit, was Honolulu, and then I can fly to any other red city afterwards. Anyway, so you're going to have an ally for however many turns, whatever this tells you. And these can tell you several different things in there. Crises, those are bad. Endorsements, you get extra votes in that place. Some can be special meeting. On a special meeting, it gives you a 1 free one-way ticket to meet all in one city. If it tells you have to go there, you have to fly out there. That doesn't count against your plane tickets. Also, at times, you may land on a character. And if you land on a character, you can do a debate with them. And the rules say if you challenge them to a debate and they decline, you get 1 vote in that state. If they do accept your challenge, each of you roll a white die. Whoever rolls the highest gets 3 votes in that state. Here's what I don't like about the game, though, is it's hard to tell who your president and vice president and allies are in the game. You may forget. And it says, as long as 2 are on the same board, you can challenge them to debate. Now, when is an ally going to debate the president or a VP, you know, going up against an ally? That's not going to happen. It should be president to president, vice president to vice president, and ally to ally. But really, because of the nondescript pieces here, you can't really tell who's who, and you'll definitely get lost in the game after a while. You may forget who's who. We have in the past. So what we did, we kind of changed it up. We're going to try to mark. I'm going to try to get some different pawns to make it a little bit better, and I'm going to up the ante for debates to make it worth your while. So for instance, if a president debates and he wins, they get 9 votes in that state. Or, you know, maybe they get 6 votes to spread out into 2 different states. I like 9 votes in 3 different states, actually, because if it was the vice president, we said it was 3 votes in 2 different states. If it's, well, 1 in the state that he's in and 1 anywhere else. Same thing with the president. They get 3 votes in that state and 6 other votes, you know, 2 states each, 3 votes in each state and other places. And then if it's 2 allies, then we just go with the local rule, which means they get 3 votes in that state or 1 if they decline. And every time they decline, like it was a VP, I think we said if they decline, you get 2 votes in that state. If it's a president, they decline, you get 3 votes in that state. You know, so we kind of tiered it that way. Like I said, that was after we played this game a few times. We wanted to change the debate rule around. But the debate says, as the rules state here, that, you know, if ever you land on another person's character, you can challenge them to debate, no matter how you are. And if we had a 3rd player in this game, like I had a 3rd piece, like an orange player or whatnot, and they stepped in there on their turn, you could have a 3-way debate, and of course for the same stakes, and of course whoever rolls the highest out of a, you know, 3-way tie can win. So it can really get interesting the more players you have. Now going back to the ally, you may pick several cards that say you get another ally. Well, you only have 1 ally in the game and you can only use 1 ally card at a time. You can play your ally cards if you have an ally card. You can play it any time you want, but you can't have more than 1 ally in the game. Duh, right? So once this is done, you can play your other ally card on your next turn. And like it says here, just, you know, any allies, you can put the boxes for how many turns they're around and check them off every turn that you have them in the game. Now finally, at the end of the game, when you get to determine the length of the game, it says. The rules say you can play for half an hour or 2 hours, however long. You determine the time with your friends. Once that, you know, time is up, the round finishes off, you know, with whoever was the last player. It finishes off when it gets to their turn. Then you're going to add up all the votes, count up all the electoral votes for each of the states, and then declare a winner. All right, so Campaign Trail, what do I think about this? Final thoughts. GDW game, let me start off with the cons. First off, the board is paper. The pawns are just garbage. They're cheap little plastic. Like I said, I hate that you can't tell between the president, the vice president, and the ally. The rules are so bad, I forgot to bring them with me. But the rules are so bad that they have a little piece of paper that it looks like they just cut out, handmade cut out, that said, oh, wait, we forgot to add this in between paragraphs 2 and 3 of movement rules. I'm like, seriously? You couldn't even, you already knew it was misprinted, so you just printed out a little rule add-on and then copied it, you know, cut it out and put the little cutouts on top of the rules. I mean, honestly, Campaign Trail is just one step above a print and play. Actually, it's a really nice print and play. That's exactly what you're getting in this. Just a nice print and play. Now, that being said, I love this game. I don't know what it is about it. I love the game. It's super expensive online right now. I don't know why it's so expensive. I got it for about half the cost, a little less than half of what it was going for, and I still felt a little cheated because honestly, you could print and play this at home. If you find a picture of the map, just print it out and then get better pawns. I plan to upgrade all of my pieces on this and massage the rules a little bit. The whole, oh, just play till y'all decide to stop. We play 2-hour games. Honestly, you could play even longer than that because you really do get into the game as it goes along. It's a really fun game, easy to learn. You're having tons of fun. There's not much to it, but for some reason, we just really, really love the game. Like I said, we're trying to do some house rules on it, like the debates mainly. I forgot to mention, at the end of the game when you're tallying up all your points, it says in a multiplayer game that if you don't reach 270, the person at the bottom has to give you all their electoral votes. And we thought, let's change that up. Let's make the debates matter even more in the game, and let's say whoever won the most debates, period, across the board, they get the lion's share of your electorals. They'll get whatever's half rounded up, whatever they can equal out, because votes aren't, electoral votes aren't going to equal out, but you're going to get the lion's share, the majority of that, by winning in all the debates. Now, the rest of them, we said the rest of them, that third-party candidate, or fourth or fifth-party candidate, they get to endorse someone, and they have to give the rest of their electoral votes to someone else. And it gets interesting, because if no one still wins, then you move up the ladder. Then third place has to do the same. But the guy who won at the debates is always going to get big votes and usually is probably going to win, which makes sense if you're good at debates, I guess. Because of those little house rules and because the game is so simple and so stinking fun, I can forgive its really, really, really cheap production. I really love this game. Now, should you get this game? Absolutely not, unless you find it at a garage sale or a flea market for under 20 bucks. 20 bucks is the max I would pay for this game. I paid a little bit more, and so I have mixed feelings about it, but I'm happy I have the game. I do love this game. Between this and the one I did last week, or earlier this week about Mr. President, man, I don't know which one I would rather play. I love both of those games, but Campaign Trail, something about it just grabs me and I love it. Hey, you know what? Just copy the rules, find a map online, draw it out yourself, and print and play. You'll definitely have just as good a version as the one I have. All right, gamers, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.